What's up, family? We are back for another episode or installment or whatever you want to call it for Pep Talks. As you see, my background is different. I am at home, not my home, but my parents' home. So, like, I'm home this time. But I'm going to have a special guest with me today. And yeah, we'll just get into it. So, my guest for today is currently living in Houston, Texas. They are a model, a community advocate, and an entrepreneur. And let's bring in and welcome Darrien Dyrell, the sophisticated one. Say welcome, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
How are you?
I am well. How are you?
I'm good. It's been a long day, but I'm here. I'm here.
I get
So
it. I get it. You're coming off Gemini season. Happy
yes,
belated birthday.
thank you. I appreciate that.
You're one of
This
the
is
only Geminis that you know I like, and I just want to put that out there. I love you, not Geminis. I love you.
gotcha. Well, I love you too, and I'm sorry that you can't say you love all Geminis, but I am grateful to be one of the ones who are loved for sure.
Perfect.
All right. Well, I've already let the people know that you are a model, a community advocate, and an entrepreneur. Tell us a little more about who you are, what you do, and what you offer.
I am, Dearie Dyrell. I'm your favorite Southern belle from the southern side of Chicago. And what I offer, I think I like to offer, what I like to think I offer to this world is just conversations, peace, love, and joy. Um, but I also work with the Mahogany Project, which is a nonprofit here in Houston, Texas. It's a
Okay.
nonprofit based, a nonprofit that focuses on breaking social isolation, stigma, and injustice within trans and non-binary factors of the LGBTQIA plus community. And so I work with them. I work with them as their event coordinator and also as their development director. And I'm super excited to continue working with them and also be on the lookout for the things that we have in store. We're currently doing our We Got Pride season, which is a combination of conversations and events through June and July that celebrate Pride the way that we celebrate it. Not Pride is not only a parade or a party, it's also different things. And we're a community, so we find different ways to bring out community and be engaged with community. So definitely check out the Mahogany Project or definitely check out my page. You'll be able to see the things that we have to offer.
Cool. No, I love the Mahogany Project events I've been a part of to be able to come to. You're an amazing bunch of people, so I love being a part of anything you guys have. So,
Thank
and
you.
y'all who are watching need to check them out. So be sure to do
Yes.
that. Well, cool. So we are on today to talk about choices and options. So we're gonna get into that a little bit. Um, One of the things we'll discuss is just as a topic, well, introduction of the topic is just why choices and options are important to remember. So I'll ask you this: why do you think choices and options are important? This can relate to a job, um, friendship, relationship. Saying all that to say, why is it important? Let's use a job for example. Why do you think it's important to remember that you have choices and options when it pertains to a job, let's say.
Oh,
um
let's go. I'm gonna do both because I was gonna go
okay.
relationship, but I'm gonna go friends. I'm gonna go job first because I think that it's important to remember that you do have choices and options within a job because every day you get up, you may need to pay your rent, you may need to pay bills, but you also have chose this job, and that this job is a choice, just like the next job is a choice. And yes, I'm gonna go here. I'm not here to. A lot of times on job interviews, they be like, "Oh, what are you here for? Why do you want to work here?" I'm working for rent. That's it. I'm working for a place to stay. I'm working for food to eat. I'm working for transportation, and this is the choice that I've made to get those things. And I
Right.
have that option to be able to walk away from this thing. I think sometimes we get stuck in a lifestyle. We get stuck at these jobs and we can be like, oh, I have to stay here to eat. I have to stay here to have a job. And it's like, no, 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 you have to work to eat, unfortunately. I think it's very unfortunate that we have to work for a place to stay or we have to work for food. That isn't a I think that we've evolved enough as people and with technology that a place to stay and food isn't something that we should be, I say, slaving for.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm sorry, how you feel about that?
No, I agree. And I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head, especially when it comes to like basic essentials of life, whether it's food, whether it's shelter, or whatever it is. It's like those things aren't or shouldn't be luxuries. Like those are things that are essential to life. So to have to choose to have to work for those,
It's
it is the thing where
wild.
it's like
It's
it's very,
ridiculous.
very frustrating. And I say it a lot. I'm like, get me back to life when it was simple. I am made to live in a garden, to eat berries, and
I
I,
will eat whatever's in season. Like, oh, we only have fucking rice, beans, and broccoli. Bitch, give me whatever. Oh, I'm sorry for cursing. Give me
you're
whatever
good. It's the
vegetable and
free
whatever
space.
fruit is in whatever fruit that's in season right now, and I will eat that until it's time for the next fruit. And I will eat off some eggs, and I will, break some bread and eggs for breakfast. But I think that living, I don't need all this extra.
Right.
Appreciate it, and I'm enjoying it because I have access to it, and I'm here, and I'm able to do that. I have the luxury, but if I'm all right not having a luxury as well.
Nope, I agree. Absolutely agree.
Um, and I want to go to, can you ask that question again? I want to answer it in a relationship. And when I say relationship, I mean relationship as in partnership, whether you're in a boyfriend, girlfriend, friends, and family. I like that question, and it pertains to our relationship as well. I think I want
So
to try
in
to
that,
answer
so
that.
just in that same sense, why do you think it's important to remember that you have choices and you have options, even in relationships?
I think that the thing about in relationships, I think that we forget that um, the way that we interact with someone is an option, and that
Mm-hmm.
that is what can change. Sometimes I think that we like some people just end up being friends. Like you meet and you just like, let's say college. You in college, you live in the same dorm, y'all always eating at the same time. It's like we ended up friends. We ended up always going to
Mm-hmm.
part. Like we just happen to be friends. At any point, I can change the capacity into which I am in relationship with you. So if I go out to eat with you, I go to the club with you, and I chill on my Saturday mornings with you. At any point, I have options to be in relationship with you. I can say I'm only going to go to the club with you. I can change our relationship in a way that I'm only going to go out to eat with you, because that I think that we get so
Right.
glued to the idea that people are our best friends or this is the person I do everything with, that we forget that yes, I do. I can love you. I can appreciate you. I can appreciate our friendship and our relationship, but I also can change that at any point. Like we
Mm-hmm.
probably fell into this relationship that we had that wasn't a choice, but once we in this, we do have a choice to change it, and it's different options that you have as well to be able to be in relationship with the person, even as it pertains to like family. I'm one of the, like I love
Whew.
my family. I, I I love them, but I'm not in relationship with them every day. I'm
Yeah.
not at every family function. I'm not always in communication with them, but I love them. They funny, they fun, they cook, they talk good stuff. Um, and they'll have your back when it's time to fight. They'll have your back when it's time to love. They'll have your back. They'll open they open their arms and they table up for anybody you bring to the table. I love a lot of things about my family, but I also understand that um, we ain't got to be best friends.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to talk on the phone every day. I, I do want closer relationships with some people in my family, but I'm also fine with I'm talking to you once a month. I'm
Right.
also only fine with talking to you on social media. I'm also fine with having shorter conversations, more short conversations and less long conversations with people. Hopefully, my
Yeah.
mama don't see this, but me and my mom, we have like very like short conversations. Hey, what you doing? What you doing today? How was work? What you eating? What you eating
Mm-hmm.
tonight? What you eat for breakfast? And then all right, I'll talk to you later. Like we don't be on the phone talking about like talking about the latest gossip and the latest drama. I mean, if it's good, she gonna let me know. She gonna let me know.
Right.
Or I may have to drag it out of her, but like I understand that I don't have to be best friends with my mom, and that I have an option to be in a relationship with her. Oh, wait. Also, I have an option to be in relationship with her, and I have the option how that relationship goes. Um, I also have the option to cut her off and never talk to her again. I'm
Hmm.
not interested in that. I'm not interested in cutting people off and never talking to them. I think that I'm able to change the capacity in which I communicate with a person, and
Right.
also making sure that that relationship is healthy and have a strong foundation and not built in anything that is draining to either one of
Right.
us. And so I think that we have choices and options, and we got to keep them open. Be open to the idea of change. Be open to the idea of loving someone differently, accepting love differently. Um, but we have options. We just got to learn how to learn what we want, what we need, but also how to communicate those things. And honestly,
Yes.
the people around you, well, they will follow suit. They will follow suit.
Either voluntarily or involuntarily, they all follow suit. And I think really what all of that boils down to, which um if it simplifies it for anybody, I think it just also boils down to boundaries. It's
Yes.
understanding those boundaries. And I think the better that we are at communicating what we want and understanding what we want and we need, we are better able to communicate and set those boundaries to understand things do change. I've shared this before, but I've had to do that same thing with people that I've been close to in years past. And then as we're getting older, we realize that we don't really function with each other the way that we did before. But that's because we're still trying to function the way that we did when we were teenagers. And it's like, we grown now. Like our lives have changed tremendously. Like some of us are parents, some of us are married, some of us are still single. So, so it's just all these different things. And some of us have lost parents, some of us have lost,
Mm,
spouses or just whatever. So it's like
mhm.
those things change you, and how we interact with each other also change. And I think that's the biggest thing, and why I think this conversation is important, to remember those choices and remembering those options and those things that tie into that. And I think one of the things you hit on that as far as just with the relationships and things too, as far as friendships, is remembering that I have the choice to change my mind, which is a point that you made earlier as well. Of just,
Period.
again, we don't have to communicate as friends the way that we have before.
Don't.
Maybe our season has come and gone. We were friends, we hung out. Yeah, this is it, buddy. Like your exit is here.
And
Um,
we loved each other. Like we loved the relationship that we had. We had great times with great memories, and now it's just not the same, and that's okay.
yeah, and it doesn't mean that either of us are bad people either.
Yeah.
Again, it just means that those seasons have come and gone like natural seasons. They come and they go, and who knows, we may reconnect in another season at another
Hmm.
time, but it'll be a different
Hmm.
level in a different way as well that we'll have better understandings on. But with that, getting into the next point of just knowing that we make choices daily, and understanding that in a sense they also don't affect just others, but they affect us as well. So the next question I'll ask is, how do you consider yourself and others in your choices that you make? Or how do you not consider people or yourself in choices? So let's talk about that for a little bit.
Interesting. Okay, two things. I think that one thing that I want to do, be able to do, is operate out of love and
Hmm.
not operate out of hurt. And so when I'm in communication with somebody, I'm in relationship with somebody, I want to be able to talk to them out of love, not out of anger. So
Hmm.
not, I don't want to be angry at the things you did or said to me. I don't want to respond to you out of frustration. I want to be able to respond out of love. But also, with that being said, I believe that I want to be able to do that to myself as well. I want
Right.
to be able to take care of myself out of love and not out of frustration. I don't want to be mad at myself. I don't want to be upset with myself. I want to be kind, pleasant, and loving to myself, and also respond to myself in that way as well. And so, if I do something that I regret, I want to be able to give myself that grace and be like, Darian, you did that. Probably wouldn't do it again.
Yeah.
but it's okay. Like, I don't want to be mean to myself or mad at myself because of the choices or decisions that I've made. And the way, um, and then also, first I want to operate out of love, but also, what was the last part of that question?
Just not only of how you consider yourself, but even how you consider others in the choices that you make. Or second part was how do you not consider others? So I guess
And
it's kind
so,
of like knowing the difference in that.
and so watch this. And how do I not consider others? First, I make sure that I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I'm not good, then you're not going to get the best of me. And so if I make sure that I'm good and that, like, selfish for me, I'm transitioning into this thing that we learn that we don't want to be selfish. And I think that that's a great thing when it comes to material things. Like, anything I have, I'm willing to give. But
Mm-hmm.
as far as my mental health and my mental and emotional capacity, that's something I have to be selfish with. I have to make sure that that's okay and that that's at tip top shape and condition, because I don't want to be I don't want to be half-assing the relationships that I am in, or I don't want to be half-assing the conversations that I am. Because if I'm not okay, then I'm not gonna be open to conversation.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be as open or as free to be able to be the best Darrien that I can be. So I have to be selfish. I have to do things that make me feel comfortable um, first. And when I'm okay, then I can give the world. I can be more considerate of how you feel and what you think. But I can't be considerate of you. I can be considerate of you if I'm okay, but I can't disregard my feelings and my body and not my emotions to make you okay. And so what
Yes.
I mean is, I think a lot of times we we ha- here we go. I'm gonna come back to it. I think that we have a lot of we're not taught in this world to be connected to our mind and our bodies, and so a lot of
Mm,
us are disconnected from our mind and our bodies and our feelings. And so once you get connected to your mind and your body, you start feeling like when something's not right, when you're in
yeah.
an uncomfortable situation. And I think that a lot of times we learn to ignore it, but now I'm learning that I want to tap in and I want to maximize those moments, because I think that when we talk about instincts and we talk about, people, oh, her valves was off. No, 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 no. My valves was off. Something about her just didn't sit right with my soul. I don't think it's about her. I think it's more about me. And so if something
Mm,
don't sit right with me, I'm willing to correct whatever that is so that I can be okay, because I can't worry about you being okay. So let's say, let me put it in. If somebody called me, and I got to give an example, because I think that if somebody say that I want to, because selfishness is something that I've worked hard not to be, and now it's something that I'm fighting for. Like, I'm fighting for my moments to be selfish, and so I want to give an example of when it's important to be selfish. If I'm sitting up in a room and somebody say, "Yeah, I can't stand motherfucking sissies," then I have to be selfish. That made me feel uncomfortable, and I'm gonna actually no, dang, that was too deep. I shouldn't have said that. I take that back. Watch this. If
no,
I'm
no,
sitting
no,
in a
no, no,
room,
no,
no,
no.
no,
Let's
no, no,
go.
no.
Let's
Wait,
go.
wait, I'm gonna take it back. I'm gonna take it back. If I'm sitting in the room and somebody of non-color, somebody that's not a Black American says, nigga, and I say, excuse me, I don't feel comfortable with you saying nigger. And then I got to speak up for myself to make myself comfortable, because what you said that without thinking about my comfort. You said that without thinking, was it okay for you to say that in front of me? You didn't care if I was okay or if I was all right with that. And so now I'm uncomfortable and now I'm feeling some type of way. So now I have to make myself okay. And so
Yes.
now I have to let you know that I feel uncomfortable when you say that. Can you not say that word in front of me? You have the option to say that word in front of me again, and you have the option to apologize and be like, I won't say that word in front of you again. I'm not interested in convincing you, I'm not interested in convincing you that you could say that word, or interested in convincing you that you can't say that word. I'm not trying to argue or fight with you. I'm telling you what makes me comfortable, and you have the option to operate in that truth. And so in that moment, I'm going to choose me, and I'm going to let you do you. So if you tell me something like, oh, I'm going to say it anyway, I'm gonna say perfect. I'm gonna say perfect. So now I know how to treat you. Now I know how what to say in front of you and what not to say in front of you, and also not to build a relationship or a comfort zone with you, because you wasn't willing to be able to have a conversation with me to make me comfortable. What you
Right.
were willing to do was make me uncomfortable, and so now I have to be selfish and I have to make sure I'm good and say perfect. That's what you're gonna get from me, like
Yeah.
all the time. And so that's an example of me being selfish and being like, what you just did made me uncomfortable. Now, moving forward, this is how we can be okay. And I think that if you able to understand me, and we can finish the day like it was regular, and we could continue
Right.
going on, and I can I can continue being understanding and considerate of who you are and the way that you show up in this world. But if you decided not to be considerate of me, then I can't continue to extend kindness and love to you. I'm not interested in pouring out when I'm getting disrespected in, and I'm not
Yeah.
receiving.
Nope.
If that makes
I
sense.
agree. And I think in all of that, I think one of the things that I was going to point out too is that one, shout out to Kimmy for her I'm Not Selfish. It's called Self Care T shirts. Check out her
Uh-huh.
brand, Kimmy Hunley. I'll tag her because being
Yes.
selfish, it's not selfish. It's called self
It's
care.
not. It's
But
self-care.
one of the things I've had to understand too is changing the narrative and reshaping my relationship with that word selfish.
Yes.
We're taught as a kid that it's wrong to be selfish and this and this and that, and then we're taught
Hmm.
through doctrine of religion to not be selfish and all these different
Hmm.
things. But I think what we
Yes.
have to realize is that as I got older, I began to realize, we had this saying back when we were in school of like, oh, treat others the way you want to be treated, kind of thing. Well, that is true to a degree, but everyone doesn't know what the best level of treatment is, because if you treat yourself like shit and don't care, then that means you think it's okay to treat me like shit because you don't care. So we can't use that same model of saying treat others the way that you want to be treated because everyone doesn't understand the same level of treatment. So I think in that, also again being told that it's wrong to be selfish, but we're not told that it's okay to be selfish to take care of ourselves. So we wonder why we have these lives of living and being depleted and drained and all these other different things, that we're trying to be so selfless that we forget about ourselves and can't make those decisions to be ourselves and do things for ourselves for those reasons, because we don't want to be selfish. Like, oh, I can't tell them no because that's selfish. Forget all that. No. Like, and I think those are the things and the reasons why I say we have to reshape those mindsets with that.
Yes. So Pastor Teray is he pastors a church in Los Angeles, like one LA or something like that.
Okay.
I'm not really up. And so I really like when I like when he's having conversations. He has great conversation and does really well in interviews. And I was listening to an interview he had recently where he talked about that idea. You said treat others the way you want it to be treated. Yep. He said something like, ooh, ooh, y'all know I'm a part-time Christian. I forgot what the Bible said. Don't tell nobody. The Bible says something about treat your neighbor. What is it about your neighbor and yourself?
Love thy neighbor as you love thyself.
Love thy neighbor as you love thyself. And when we're talking about that same, I see the way that some of y'all love yourselves. I don't want that love projected onto
Nope.
me. I'm not interested in it. And so he
Nope.
talked about that idea that some people don't love themselves properly, so you can't even expect them to love you properly. And with that being said, and so when I talk about this whole vibe thing, it makes me uncomfortable when people are mean to themselves. It's
Mm.
one thing to be honest. It's another thing to be mean. If you think it's okay to be mean with yourself, then and be a bitch to yourself and be tough on. Oh, I curse so much.
Listen,
And
it's a
so
free space. You are you. You have fun.
I I think that it makes me uncomfortable when people are mean to themselves, because it's like, I don't want you to place that same meanness and judgment up onto me. And so
Right.
I think that, but also it becomes a difference when you know somebody. If I know you, I understand how like the tone in which you speak to yourself, and like I don't think that you'll place that judgment up on me. But when I don't know you and you coming off with, I would never. I can't believe. Wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
That don't feel right with me. That you're so mean. You're comparing yourself and you're being so mean and tough on yourself. And so now I can't build a relationship with that because I see that you don't know how to treat yourself, and I don't want that to come over here. Because if it come over here, I'm gonna have to
Mm-hmm.
defend myself and I'm gonna be selfish. I mean, I don't mind it, but I'm also
And
just
we
not
got
interested in putting up with it.
right. So with that point, to the next question, when did it become clear to you that you have a voice and you have the ability to choose?
Um, so when you put voice in it, that just makes it a little different because, um, okay, when did I think that when did I think I became the ability to choose. I always had this, I used to watch Oprah when I was little, and she used to say
Come on,
something like,
Oprah.
we all want to be loved. Every child just want to be loved, heard, and appreciated, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so, oh, where do I start? Where do I want to go with this? And so with that, I've just learned the idea of that, with at least with children, you have the option to be able to make sure that they heard, make sure that they appreciate it, and make sure that they feel loved. And that may
Mm-hmm.
be different for every child, but we have to be intentional about doing that. And so for me, I think that for me, that seed was planted into me as a child. But
Gotcha.
then, and so when I got under, that's where I'm going. There we go. I think that seed was planted into me as a child from Oprah, and then now as I become an adult and I start figuring out, who I want to be in this world, I'm learning that, I had to unlearn a lot of things, a lot of like, come from I don't want to. I grew up in a church, but I grew up in a church, and I come from a religious background, and I grew up in a black background, and on the south side of Chicago, with, my people from, Mississippi, the deep south, and so it's like, I grew up with this sophistication, this polished way of living, and thinking that this polished way of living was going to get me everywhere and get me everything that I needed and I wanted.
Mm,
And I was so polished, and it still didn't get me the things that I wanted. It still didn't get me the life that I wanted. And so I had to unlearn all of that, figure out who I really was, and figure out how I wanted to operate in this world and who I wanted to become. And then that's when I figured out, when I did it the world's way and it didn't work for me, I figured out, no, 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 that don't work. And so I have to figure out something that works for me. And so that's when I start figuring out that I have a choice. How am I going to do this thing? How am I
mm-hmm.
going to show up in this world? Am I going to continue to show up in this way that, don't feel right with my body and my soul and my mind and my heart? Am I going to continue to show up in this world in a way that's pleasing to other people, or am I going to figure out a way to do it for me, to make me feel all right? And I've been on
Right.
this journey to make myself okay, to make
Yeah.
myself at peace, to make myself, feel liked and heard and appreciated and
Yeah.
loved. I've been on this journey and I figured that out. I would say my transformation, it was like 21, 22. That's when I
Okay.
learned that I really have a choice to be able to choose the way that I want to show up in this world.
And I think that's a perfect explanation. And honestly, if you didn't actually put a number to it, I think that's fine too. Just to show, and I mean, I only say that just because it also shows that for a lot of people, for anyone who's watching, if you find yourself in this space, whether you are 15, whether you're 30,
Yeah.
whether you are 60, it's to show
Mhm.
that life is about evolution. And it's not always about when you get there, but it's just
Mhm.
getting there. And I think that's the thing of just realizing. So I asked to say, when did it become clear to you? And even if you would have said, like, baby, look, it's clear. I'm still trying to figure this shit out. I would have been fine. So, because, again, that's just life of just understanding that it is that evolution, and understanding that, again, going back to choice, things change. And I may have thought I had it figured out at 20, and now
Mhm.
30, I'm like, oh, that wasn't nothing. Like, this is a whole
That's right.
different game. And understanding that
Period.
that is okay. And so I think that's
Mhm.
why I wanted to ask that. And I think you kind of tapped into the next question too. How
Wait,
do you
before we get to
think?
the next
I'm
question,
sorry.
you're fine. I do want to mention about evolution.
Okay.
And I do think that we continue to change and we continue to evolve. I remember my dad has always been a great dad in different aspects. And I think
Mm-hmm.
about how when I now as an adult, I think about who he was when I was a child and how he's evolved as a man, as a
Mm-hmm.
father, as a friend, as a partner, and in his relationships. He has evolved, and he has been coming off of Father's Day. I did want that came to my mind. I did want to put that into the air that my dad was a person that could had me at 19, 20, and I've seen him
Mm-hmm.
continue to evolve and grow into a man that's forever changing. And now, by this age, my dad had about 5, 6 kids. At the age I'm at now, he had about 5 and 6 kids, and I see
Gotcha.
um, how I'm evolving and how I'm growing. Who I was at 20, I would not like that person. I don't want to have a conversation with that person
Mm.
because I was just not who I am today. And so, yes, we evolve, and we probably I was that girl then. Like I thought I was that girl, and that I knew what I knew, and that I was damn near perfect. Um, but now I look back, and it's like I love you, but at the same time, I honestly hate is a strong word. Don't say that. I love you, but also I know that you have a long way to go. And so even like I've done all of this work into the great age that I am now, and it's like, am I going to look at myself in 10 years and be able to think that same thing about myself? Like, dang, I did it. I love you, but you're going to be great, and you're going to be even better right
Well,
now. But
and
yes,
so I look at it like this, freshly into 31. Um, I look at it I think it's a thing of, I think we will look back, but I think it's also a matter of we're looking back. The more that we grow and the more that we evolve, we also begin to extend that grace that you talked about earlier to our younger selves as well.
yes.
To also realize, baby, you were young. There was a lot of pressure of needing to be older than you were for, whether it was
Uh-huh.
life or whatever else it may have been. So I think we begin to offer that grace to ourselves more, and hitting on
Mhm.
parents, I think we begin to offer that grace to our parents as well. That, like, oh God, you had me at 31 and I'm over here like, what is this? I
You
cannot
hear
imagine
me?
having kids right now. Like, I literally told my mom, we were having lunch the other day, and I was like, I just turned 31. You were getting married at 31 with 3 kids. I
Oh,
cannot
can't relate.
imagine. I can't imagine my life right now being married and with 3 kids. I, what? I'm just
I,
trying to make sure I can take care of me. But now you're adding in a spouse and 3 other people that, I salute you. I salute
same.
you. So
Mhm.
it's definitely a thing of evolution, but I think that is the thing of just understanding that space to be able to give yourself that grace, to understand that. So
Yes.
that's what I think we will end up looking back on, is like, because I've said that even this week to another friend, was like, oh God, I was 21 and feeling like I was 40. and not even realizing that it's like you haven't even tapped into, like, you're literally, although by age you are legal, but you are still a baby right now.
A
Like, you
baby,
are
a
still learning.
baby.
So,
Imagine living to 80 and 90. Girl, these years don't even count at that point.
mm,
Probably won't remember them.
at all. You're funny. So, but I was saying, I think you kind of tapped into the next question earlier too, of just, well, it was, how do you think your childhood played a part in how you understand choices and options? But you kind of tapped into it with the Oprah conversation. But is there something else you feel like you want to add into that?
Yes, ask me one more time, if you don't mind.
How do you think your childhood played a part in how you understand choices and options?
And so I think that my childhood played a part because I think that for a long time in my childhood, I didn't feel like liked, or I didn't feel loved. I didn't feel appreciated. I didn't feel heard. I didn't. That's why I got a little. Um, I got lost when you said the word voice earlier, because that's something I'm still working on.
Mm,
But I didn't feel heard. I didn't feel like valued, or the things that I said was like valued. And so I think that that has. That has had a significant impact on who I was then, and then also being able to fill in those gaps for myself. But then also, I don't want another person to feel like that. And
right.
so when someone else is talking, I want to be able to understand what they're saying, and um, understand what they're saying, hear what they're saying, let them know what they're saying is like appreciated and valued, and how I want to be able to help them figure out what they're saying. Like, I'm so solution based now. When people are talking, it's becoming a bad thing, and I have to work on it, because it's like people be talking about their issues, and I'd be like, "Oh, you know what you should do, girl?" And it's like, I'm not talking. We're not solutions yet. We're not talking about solutions. We're just talking about problems. And I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry."
Yeah.
And so I think I have to go. Even now, I want that, and I thought that I've been able to like help people on their journey to like healing, and like continue healing, and just talk it out with people, and people have really appreciated that. And so on, this is a therapy session. Look at me talking too much. Uh, and so what had happened was, I thought I graduated from this place of making sure that, like, I thought I had making sure people feel heard and appreciated and loved down to a T. And so
Mm-hmm.
now I can like move on to like helping you fix the problem, helping you to that solution. But I think that
Mm,
that is something that never goes away, and that's something that is always a area that we can all work on a little bit more, is like making sure people feel heard, valued, and appreciated. Like, I
yes.
appreciate this conversation that we're having today. I think that choices and options are something that I've been able to master, and something that I've been able to. I enjoy changing the capacity in a relationship. I enjoy being at work and letting them know the options that they have with me, and what I was hired for, and the
Mm-hmm.
choices, the options that they have with me is the things that I'm going to do, and the things that I'm not going to do, because that's not what I
Yes.
was hired for.
Yeah.
I enjoy those conversations, and I enjoy speaking about those things, because I think that that's a place that I've mastered, because I didn't have it for so long. I didn't know that
Right.
I had that voice, so I didn't know that I was able to be heard and appreciated. So I was like, "Oh, girl, now I understand who I am. Now I am able to verbalize what's going on, what I'm
Yes.
feeling, what I'm thinking, and also what you got going on. And if I don't know what you got going on, oh man, ask."
I'm not even touching that. That I absolutely agree, and I'm gonna hold to my word of not touching that, and just know that you hit it. You hit it on the head. Huh?
Nothing. I said I'm crying. That was funny. True.
Oh, gotcha. But no,
Thank y'all for
I'm
tuning
agreeing
in.
with
I'm
you.
sorry. I do want
No,
to
I
say thank
definitely
y'all. We
appreciate
appreciate it. We love y'all.
this conversation for sure. And that's actually the last question. So yes, as you said, thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for tuning in, leaving your comments and anything else. I think it's very important to remember that you do have choice um, in everything that you do, and understanding that other people also have choices in everything they do. So I think
Yes.
that also helps. That should also help navigate through things a lot differently and understanding those choices.
True.
Were you going to
Also,
add
wait, hold on.
something?
Let me get mean for a second. And just like we have choice and options, I think we talked a lot about our choices and options.
Mm-hmm.
Other people have choices and options as well. And if someone chooses to disrespect you, they're not going to choose to do it again because you're going to check them on that first time. And
No,
so,
that was going to be my other point earlier, but I forgot it. Thank you. So let's go back to that for a second. So rewind. Yes, you made a point about that of just saying that um, if you choose not to respect me, I can choose to address it. That part. So I think it
yes,
is a thing to remember is that other people do have choice, and the same way that you have a choice to decide something, I have a choice how I want to respond to that. Period.
true.
So as you
And don't
said,
judge my response. Don't get mad at me because I
because you made
decided
your
to say,
choice.
you made a choice, stand
Yeah.
tall in it, stand tall in that choice. It made me feel uncomfortable. And so now I want to speak on it. Let's put it on the table since you feel so comfortable. And if you don't feel comfortable talking about it and standing tall in your truth, then let's not do it again. Let's
Yeah.
apologize for it and let's not do it again.
Yeah.
And also, secondly, oh, I'm ghetto. Don't apologize. When you apologize for doing it, don't make that apology about me. Apologize to yourself. Apologize to yourself for not, apologize to yourself for doing it and that you would try harder not to do it again next time. Because I don't need your apology. I need you to be able to stand tall in your actions and stand tall in what you did and acknowledge what you did and move forward and do better. Don't
Darrien.
apologize to me. Apologize to
Whew.
yourself.
You are speaking.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Speaking. No, shit. I mean, you're right. Like I told a client that I was consulting for, some stuff happened and they came back to apologize. And I told them basically those exact words. Don't make this apology about me. Apologize to yourself. It'll mean a whole lot more when you tell yourself that more than it'll ever mean to you telling me that. Because you're
Yeah.
just saying this because it's performative action right now to tell me. Don't apologize to me. Unless you are truly at that making change and doing better. Not that I won't take your apology or understand your apology, but trust me, it means a lot more when you do that for yourself than somebody else.
True.
So
True. And, and I ain't gonna keep going. I quit. Yes, I am. Last one.
you're funny.
Also, but I also got to tell. But I be having to tell my friends that as well because people be expecting an apology or be like, "Oh, I think you should apologize to her." I go straight to like sometimes my friends they be sick of my shit. I think you should apologize to yourself for that. Like, don't apologize because that was offensive to her. That hurt her feelings. She cried about that in a bathroom by herself, probably in the middle of the night. She's just up thinking about that. Apologize to yourself for doing that to somebody. Not
Yeah.
even if that, like, you're sorry for what you said. No, no, no. You sorry for putting someone in a position where they cried themselves to sleep,
Yeah.
hypothetically. Like, and so
And
little
I
things
think,
like that.
but I think in that though, even extending an apology to yourself as well, that's also forcing yourself to consider that you have to give yourself again that space and that grace. Because a lot of
Mhm.
times people want to apologize to the person themselves because they feel they were right.
Mhm.
So it becomes to be that thing. No, let me take this step back and do just that. Like I'm acknowledging that yes, I did this to you, but I also did this to myself because, as you said, I allowed myself to go through this moments, and that's we talk all night because I think that
Sure.
takes it to another point of just understanding is in me. Every experience is a lesson learned, and I think the more that we realize that, the more that we will understand life. Like everything that you do on a daily basis, how you respond, how you react, what you do, it is an experience, and there's a lesson in those things that you have learned, you are learning, or you will learn. So that's my soapbox.
And lastly, coming off a Pride Month, I promise you. What's the last thing I'm so promise. Options and choices is also on a spectrum. It's not black and white. So it's
Yes.
not a yes and a no thing. It's also this area in between. And so we have to be able to explore those things in between as well. And so, example, when I talk about my relationship with my mom, is either you can cut her off or we can be best friends. You don't have to
Hmm.
be X or A. You don't have to be A or B. Find that place between the alphabets, between A and Z that you want to
Yeah.
be, and figure out what feels good and what feels possible for you.
Hmm.
That's it. It's a
No,
spectrum.
I agree.
I'm done.
I agree. Well, on that note, if y'all like this, let us know if y'all want a part two then, because it seems like we can keep going.
We could.
People,
Sorry.
what?
I won't do it
What
again.
is child is fine. Again, whatever. This is what we do. This is how we operate. So though they don't know us, but they do now.
Also,
So
we talk
it's
like
okay.
this on a regular, and it be on mistake,
Absolutely.
and we be talking too much, and it be like, oh, 2 hours has passed. What has gone with the time? But
Exactly.
yes,
So it's cool. But again, thank you all for joining us today for this pep talk. As you know me, I am DaiTrell. I am a recording artist and life coach. This thank you also goes out to the PEP team of helping to make sure that these run smoothly with topics and things that we're discussing. So, team, thank you because I cannot do this without y'all because it's a lot. I'm gonna give a shout out too for the Mahogany Project and thanking y'all for the work that y'all do because y'all some bad people. Y'all good folks over there. So, but again, my name is DaiTrell. You can follow me on social media under my music and just regular day-to-day stuff at DaiTrell or coaching at the PEP Plan and Darien. You can also follow. You want to tell them more where they can find you?
yes, I am Darien Dyrell across all social medias. That's on Facebook and at Darien Dyrell on Twitter and Instagram, and a few other things. But I'm Darien Dyrell. I'm also known as the sophisticated one, your favorite Southern belle from the southern side of Chicago. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. I truly appreciate this conversation and I appreciate y'all for listening. If y'all have any more questions on this, please don't feel free to reach out to either one of us. We will either answer it personally, we will answer it in another live if that's what you want. But
Yeah,
we're willing to talk more about it as well if you would like.
absolutely. All right, well, that's our time, y'all. Much love and peace.